Hello, my name is Barry. I'm a New York State licensed psychotherapist and a professional spiritual intuitive. So, today the topic is going to be, to borrow a heading. This is a classic play from Oscar Wilde in the Victorian era, The Importance of Being Earnest. Except earnest as the verb rather than as a noun. Okay, so what we're really going to be talking about is the importance of knowing your passion in life and how to go about discovering it. Now, a lot of people come to me, and even though I'm not a vocational counselor, I do end up doing a lot of sort of psychic, spiritual, vocational counseling where I help the person find their own answers. If you go to a psychic will take a look, and if they're accurate, they will tell you exactly what the area of focus should be. And generally, they'll be correct if they're a really accurate psychic. However, that's not necessarily helpful because people need to know that they own their discovery, they have energy put into it. Even if it's accurate, if it comes from a psychic, if it comes from an outside source, the person didn't work to own it and therefore can say, oh, okay, that sounds good, and then do nothing about it. If you go within, and old canard, you have to go within and you take a look and you find for yourself what exactly your passion is, there's a much higher chance that you're going to go and do it. And of course, if you discover your passion and then you find that there are blocks to doing it, fears, belief systems, well, then we can always work on that. Now, there's an interesting, I would use the term conundrum, but it's a puzzlement that comes up. Because a lot of people say, well, I can figure it out for myself, or I've already gone within and I've checked and I found XYZ is my passion. I say, fantastic. What have you been doing with it? Nothing. How come? Well, I don't know, I just not. Well, odds are that's not really their passion. What happens is when people want to discover what they're really passionate about, what they want to do with their life, and so many people come, and bright people, hardworking, successful in their careers, but it's not satisfying. And they say, okay, what do I do with my life? What they're actually tapping into is their ego. And the ego is giving them answers, and there's no energy attached to it because the ego is sort of a mental process, but not a particularly emotional process. So they think of it, and then nothing happens. Also, a lot of times, the ego comes up with shoulds, and shoulds are a biggie. I'll talk about that another time. But it comes up with, I should be interested in this. I should be wanting to do that. And guess what? That's not really the person's passion. It could be the message from their culture. It could be the message from their parents, their family, or even from media, that this is the thing to do. For example, in a lot of cultures, the children are told from a young age, okay, you have to be a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer. And the children grow up knowing that they have to choose one of those professions. There's really no choice. This is what their parents said. This is what has been drilled into them all their life. And whether they're passionate about it or not, whether they're really interested in the subject or not, usually that's what they go into. Now, if you find your real passion, you may find out, I really don't want to be a neurosurgeon. I want to be an artist. I want to be a folk singer. I want to dig ditches. Yeah, nobody really digs ditches anymore. But That's, what I'm talking about. It's the true passion, not what society has told you. So when you want to discover your passion, you need help to cut through all the ego verbiage, which is going to tell you, oh yes, you have to do this, you should do that. Because 9 times out of 10, what the ego is really telling you is messages that you picked up, sometimes overtly, sometimes subliminally, all your life. And then this is what you believe who you are, because it's something you should do. So when I work with people, I help them to go down to a place, it's in the first chakra where the true self is, who you really are, and help them to connect with it. And in the second chakra, which is sexuality but also creativity, to connect with that sense of, okay, where are my juices flowing? What really excites me? And then to take a look in the third chakra, which has to do with interactional dynamics between yourself and the world. What can I really see myself putting energy into? Like, to give you an example, when I was in college, I was fascinated by ancient history, and I was an ancient history major. I loved the subject. It was my greatest passion in life. And I had a lot of energy. I never had to study for an exam. I read the book once, remembered it. But when it came to my third chakra, though I didn't know it back then, I took a look and there was nothing in the field that I enjoyed doing. I enjoyed studying, but not interested in being an archaeologist, not interested in potsherds, not interested in learning ancient languages. In other words, a dismal failure. And I also wasn't interested in teaching. So I realized, even though this is my greatest passion, it's not something I want to do in life. So I took a look at my second greatest passion, which is psychology. And that I love doing. I had a passion for, not as much as ancient history, but I certainly had a passion. It was very creative, the way that I do it at least. And when I looked at my third chakra, I loved doing it in the world. And this has turned out to be my greatest passion. My intellectual passion is still ancient history. But what I love doing is helping people to understand themselves and to grow. So that's a little explanation of my own working through process. Each person will be different, of course, but I help you to find not only what is your true self's theoretical passion, but what is it you wish to actually do. And the person has to find the answer for themselves, because once you find the answer for yourself, and you know this is really me, you will go ahead and do it. Unless there are blocks, as I said, then we work it through. And the reason I had the title, The Importance of Being Earnest, is when you're earnest, you're really dedicated, putting energy into a subject. So I thought it would fit. Okay, I hope this has been helpful for you today. And again, my name is Barry Naroff. I'm a New York State licensed psychotherapist and a professional spiritual intuitive. My webpage is Birthright Therapy, and you can write me at Barry, B-A-R-R-Y, at Birthright, BIRTHRIGHT, If you want more information, feel free to send me an email. I will be glad to do a conversation on a topic of your choosing, assuming that I'm able to. And feel free to write comments if you have any questions or anything you want to ask. And if you like what you heard, and you'd like to hear more, please do subscribe. And there's a little button next to it. If you press it, it'll ring a bell. And that means each time I post a new one, which will be pretty much daily, but can't always promise, you'll be notified when the new ones are. Also, I do daily channeling, so feel free to look at that. I never know what the topic is going to be. It's whatever is spontaneous. So, thank you again. And until the next time.